I'm going to share a little bit here and just a little bit of practice. Um, so I'm introducing myself, Prentis Hemphill. I'm also going to introduce Kasha Ho, who's going to be on screen with me in just a moment. But what we wanted to share here is a little bit about kind of our work and approach, and especially some practices that we think will be supportive of communities that are working to mobilize and build relationship together. Um, it's a real compliment to what Francisca and Sandra just shared about the stress responses that come up in us and how we can perceive those and work with that kind of uptick in energy we have in our body. Um, a lot of our systems are kind of chronically, in a way, activated, stress activated, considering the conditions that we live in, the conditions that we're aware of other people living in, the way that we receive information, and the activation that's kind of embedded in the way we engage with technology in this moment. The real stressors of life, not knowing if we have enough of the resources we need, enough of the community we need, whatever your kind of stressors are. There's a lot of it. And that's sort of where we, in our work at TEI, we're sort of focused on naming this piece of stress in particular. And the reason that we do that um, is that we find that stress actually speaks to the myriad of challenges that people are facing in their lives and conditions, etc. And trauma, which is often what we focus on, is uh, the sort of extreme end of the stress spectrum. It's a stress that we did not have the resources to face. But stress is on this continuum of experiences that we face every day. And we think it's really important for us to understand that. That's why they're called stress responses, because we're always responding to those stress responses. We're always responding to stress from those responses that we have kind of embedded in us from the wisdom of our ancestors. So we focus on stress and adaptability in our work, in part because we want to support the development of bodies that can be adaptable in high stress situations and seek resource and connection. Um, One of the definitions of stress that I use in my work comes from a researcher whose name is now escaping me, but I will get it to you all. But there's a definition that says basically that there's stress appears when there's a discrepancy between the resources that we believe we have in our own bodies or in our relationships and the size of the challenges that we face. So there's a perceived discrepancy between what we think we have available to us and our communities and what we're facing. And that produces a sense of stress in our bodies. And by that, I mean it activates those stress responses, a sense of what are we going to do? And I've been working with this definition for years because I think it highlights something that's really critical um, for I think all of our work. And one is that there's a perception that sometimes there's actual discrepancy, and there also is the perception of discrepancy, and I think that's important for us to understand. And there's a discrepancy between what we think we have, both in us and in our relationships. So, what that definition has done for us is help us understand that stress is actually an opportunity for connection, that it's actually an opportunity to reach out, to make connection, to receive resource from people near us. And it doesn't often exist in our lives that way. And I think there's many reasons for that. But one of the biggest reasons is how many of us are trained, I think, through this culture we call individualism into isolation when we experience stress. So we think we have to individually take it on because maybe we've had few models of needs being met. We haven't actually seen that happen. We've been maybe trained or have had modeled shame when you have a need and reach out to have that need met, then shame comes in, or the sense of like, I can't do that, nobody can do that, you need too much, et cetera, whatever that might be. And so that gets really trained into our system so that when we feel the emergence of a need, all these other narratives and stories can come in. And that over time creates this culture that we call an individualist culture, but really it's a lot of us holding shame around the needs that we have, or holding this sense that we can't have needs between each other. And I actually believe really strongly that the existence of these kinds of needs is the basis of community. And we're seeing that in the examples and the work that people are doing, that needing each other is causing us to build the kinds of connections and infrastructure that we've needed. Rafa laid out all the examples over time of moments that community really needed each other. And so rather than hide our needs or being influenced or coerced into hiding our needs from each other, how can our needs actually be a connector and a response to the stressors that we're all facing? So that's the sort of premise that I want to work with today. And we're just going to do a little bit of practice. And again, I think that this is important, especially before we're in moments of crisis, to be able to get into contact and connection with our needs and to be able to practice expressing them. It may feel awkward to us to do things like that. And Kasha, who's here with me today, is going to be on camera in a minute, always talks about the the practices that we need, the rituals that we need are going to feel awkward to us at first. And maybe felt awkward to our ancestors when they were figuring things out. And we have to give them the humanity to understand that they had moments of like, oh, is this right? Is this right? Oh, I think this is it. But those moments of figuring it out, we have to allow ourselves that too when we practice with each other. Let it be a little awkward until we can embody what it is that we actually want to embody rather than the things that we have been trained to embody or do compulsively. How do we practice in a way that lets us open up to new possibilities with each other relationally? Um, so first I want to just drop in a little bit here and start to notice something that might bring you just a little bit of stress. And I know there are many things that are causing incredible amounts of stress and activating our responses in a pretty significant way. I want to work with something that is not on that scale, something that you can notice and be aware of and stay here with, but does give you some sort of increased sensation. So a 3 or 4 on the scale, 10. So inviting that stress to come forward just a little bit. And notice what it wants to do. We don't have to make a lot of meaning about which response it is. We can just feel the kind of uptick in energy, which might start to be that question of, do I have what I need around this thing? I can feel this just looking at my email inbox every day. Do I have what I need to answer all these questions? I can feel that in my chest. I can feel that in my face and burning around my ears. What is it for you? What do you notice? And in that kind of question, I notice in my own body a hardening that's like, this is what you're going to need to do to face that. So that stress response coming on. How do I organize myself in response to this? Again, just want to sit with some awareness with that. We don't have to fully enter it. Just notice. And I want to ask us to just play with some phrasing here for a moment. And the phrase I want to ask you to say, and we're all on mute, so we can all say this out loud. Well, I don't know your situation, but if you can, please do. Well, you can put a hand on your chest and one on your belly, and I just want to ask you to say, I need. Feeling that stressor, whatever it is, we just get to play with. And we're not saying if you say it, it's magically going to be met, your needs are going to be met. We're just playing with the possibility. See if you can allow yourself to say, I need. And I want to ask you to say it a few times. You can put emphasis wherever you need to activate that kind of vulnerability inside of you. Maybe it's, I need. Maybe it's, I need. And we're not moving away from that vulnerability. We're listening to that quality in our systems. There's this thing that I'm afraid I don't have enough for, and I need. And we don't know what yet. It's okay. We're just allowing ourselves to be people that need. And perhaps if we can accept that and be with that, we can be with it in other people also, opening up the possibility for that. And you can remove your hands and we'll just stay a little bit with the sensation. You can turn it down a little bit if you need to in this moment. But notice what that did. Maybe what that did with the stress feeling. Maybe you feel more activated. Maybe there's a little bit, for me, there's a little bit of ground underneath the stress, curiosity, tenderness, fear, something sitting under it. I need. And I'm going to invite you. I know many of you are alone right now, but we're going to model this practice so that you can maybe do it in your own context or communities. Um, but one of the practices that we do with people that we work with is have them practice expressing a need. And we've sort of identified some um, areas where we might, ways of articulating what our needs might be. And so I'm going to give you some uh, options here. I'm actually going to try to drop them in the chat if I can. Here they come. They're not going. Hold on. Okay. And the categories are I need help. I need help. Maybe I need to know more. I need more information. I need more skill. I need something more. Sometimes I need someone else to do this. Maybe I need you to do it. Or maybe I just need witness in the doing. Or maybe I need companionship. I need witness. And I give you these as options, and you can practice with those. You can practice, sometimes to simplify, we just practice with I need help and getting that in our systems relationally. I need help can open up a lot for people. But if there's one that's speaking to you right now, you might practice with this. And I'm going to introduce Kasha Ho, who's my um, co-director, TEI. Say hi. Hi. And we're just going to show you what this practice looks like. And we're going to go both ways, just identifying one of these phrases. And I think we're going to try to be as real as possible. So let's see what happens. Do you want to explain that? I'm going to make contact with her chest with my hand, and she's going to make contact with my chest. You can do it without contact. You can do it contact on the shoulder, whatever works for you. But we are trying to do the practice in a way that um, evokes sensation that we can work with. But again, at the level at which we can stay aware of it without leaving, going too far. This is related to the stress that I was working with earlier. And I'm going to say, I need help. I need help. I need help. And I'm just going to feel that, what it means to express it and what it means to let it be known to another person that I need help. Thank you. Do you want to model it?
Thank you. Sure.
Okay. And then Kasha will do the same for me, for her, on me.
Just okay. I need to be witnessed. I need to be witnessed. I need to be witnessed.
Thank you. Do you want to say anything about how that was for you?
Um, uh, yeah, I felt a lot. I also feel the gaze of 500 something people, which amplifies what I'm feeling internally.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's lots of hearts for you.
Thanks. Crying emoji. I felt well, as we were practicing this in preparation for this call, I was like, well, do you want to have the conversation? Or like asking really this person for help and what would it take for them to help you? And I can really feel in this practice, like, oh, it's about feeling my own body. And it's not about like, can you actually meet my need in this moment or not? But I can really feel like I'm retraining my systems to understand that I have a need and that expressing it is something that is possible. Um, yeah, and I think as someone who historically has a hard time expressing needs, I could feel how important it is to get the reps in of expressing a specific need
Yeah,
so that what's coming across isn't like the tidal wave of all of the needs that have been unexpressed
yeah,
for all time. Um, because I can see how that makes it less possible to get your needs met if all of that is flowing through in the request.
that's right. Thank you.
How about you?
Um, yeah, I felt super vulnerable, small, and uh like the only way to get the need met really is to know it, express it, allow it to be. I might magically get it met somehow. Somebody could might magically understand. But the possibility increases when I can express it. So, we want to just offer that to you. And I think I'll just close here by saying, like, these are the small ways that we start to retrain our bodies towards the kind of liberated future that we believe in, because our bodies are so deeply trained away from that. So I hope this is useful for you all, for your communities, and yeah, thank you all for practicing using, sharing this with your folks. Thank you, Kasha.
Thank you.
Yeah.